Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Tonight, I'm going to talk to you about a problem that I noticed. The root of it is, do in God we trust? Based on, I heard recently that there was an attempt made to have the saying, in God we trust, removed from all our money and our coins. At first glance, I didn't think too much about it. But then it hit me. Why are we wasting our time, and no doubt large amounts of money, even dealing with this? Who would have such a problem with 4 simple words that this is making it into the news? I never thought much about in God we trust on money. But with the attempt to remove it, I found that inside I do have an opinion on it. If people choose to hide from God and remove God from everything, then why should I care? But if they're doing it so that nobody will see God, then I have a problem. Our founding fathers never imposed any belief on God, nor did they hide their gratitude for divine help. Why shouldn't we believe and trust in our founding fathers? We know they did exist, and they have proven they had great insight and were taking great care in forming this magnificent union. What do we know now that could possibly trump the solid foundation they have left for all Americans? Those that believe in a God and those that don't. There were atheists even then. The problem is, if we continue to systematically allow God to be removed from our government and our public places, we could find that the American dream could leave along with it. Some may want this to happen. I am not one of them. And our founding fathers knew better. So where do these references to God come from? And why are they being attacked? Let's look at where the trust in God came from. What caused this trust and its roots in America? From the very beginning, public documents have acknowledged and given tribute to God, such as the first Charter of Virginia in 1606, even the Mayflower Compact with the Pilgrims of Plymouth, up to our Declaration of Independence, drafted by Thomas Jefferson, stated that the laws of nature and of nature's God. It states, we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. The signers of that document acknowledged their trust in God by appealing to a firm reliance on the protection of divine providence. Thomas Jefferson, later in his Virginia Statute for Religious Freedom, which was our forerunner to the First Amendment, showed its reliance on God. And our first president, George Washington, confessed dependence upon God in his first inaugural speech, where he stated that no people can be bound to acknowledge and adore the invisible hand which conducts the affairs of men more than those of the United States. So since its earliest days, the leaders of our republic have acknowledged God's hand in America. And how did we place this trust in the more modern times? Well, how we show our continued trust today began in actually one of America's biggest crises, the Civil War. The phrase, in God we trust, now the nation's motto, was commissioned back during the Civil War by the Secretary of the Treasury, Salmon Chase. He was urged by the public and by ministers. And so the motto was put on coins. Then, during the Cold War, 1957, with the threat of communist Soviet Union, in October of 1957, the move was made to put the phrase on paper currency. So there was a joint resolution passed by the 84th Congress, declared "In God We Trust," the national motto of the United States. So our founders put God in many very public places. Why change it? In 1955, all United States coins and currency have carried the motto. Not until 1970-78 were these laws authorized and legally challenged. An atheist named Madalyn Murray O'Hare's charge that it violated the First Amendment was brought to the Supreme Court. But the Supreme Court, in its ruling, or not ruling, did not refuse to even hear the appeal, said it is not that the use of these four words, "In God We Trust," can be dismissed. The truth is that we have simply interwoven the motto so deeply in our fabric of our civil policy that its present use may well not present the type of involvement which the First Amendment prohibits. So why are these debates and discussions on our motto? Throughout the last century in Congress, they clarified that the motto had spiritual and psychological value, and efforts to prevent "In God We Trust" from being engraved in the Capitol Visitor Center were recently beat back. 2006, the Senate voted another time to reaffirm the concept embodied in the motto. So why would the motto need another vote in the House? Unfortunately, we have a number of key public officials who apparently are confused what the motto is. But just so there's no misunderstanding, the House voted 396-9 to reaffirm the motto and encourage its redisplay in all public schools and government buildings. One Republican and 8 Democrats voted nay. One Republican, yes. Time to leave this alone once and for all. And it's up to the citizens to see that any more attempts are quickly dealt with. I think Congress has better things to do. In conclusion, public recognition of God and the use of the motto, "In God We Trust," on our coins and currency has been a long and well-founded place in America's heritage. The Supreme Court recognized this heritage when Justice William L. Douglas stated, "We are religious people whose institutions presuppose a supreme being." We must recognize and respect the source of these rights that make us American. Our founders were all taking a great personal risk, signing the Declaration of Independence, putting their very lives on the line while trusting in divine providence. As Americans, we must respect the rights of everyone, but if some choose to ignore the fact that we have a long history of trusting God, then it is our duty to try and inform and educate. So if and when people try again to take credit away from a power greater than us or the U.S., we must raise our voices in opposition as our founding fathers did, and show that we, whom benefited greatly from their belief and courage, have even an ounce of their courage, and remember any of their true wisdom. The spiritual strength that they had and used allowed the greatest democracy ever in creation to be born. We are the caretakers now. As we enter our 3rd century as a nation, we must not forget our legacy of dependence upon God, reflected in our national motto, "In God We Trust." Only by remembering the legacy can we say, as Abraham Lincoln from the Gettysburg Address said, "And this nation under God shall have a new birth of freedom, and that the government of the people, by the people, for the people, shall not perish from the earth." It is time to make a stand and not allow our divinely given freedom to be manipulated and perverted into a cry for individual rights out of ignorance to our rich history. We need more God in government, not less. There is a way to do this. Our founding fathers pointed to the right direction. There's no real good reason to try and remove God from our republic. Ego and denial are the only reasons I see, without going into what could be evil motivations. We should and must renew our trust in God as a nation, under God, and guard against those that would try to place people above God, or deny a chance to learn about God's place in this country. A government without God is a sad place, and our founding fathers knew that. I would hope, whatever your belief is, that you will at least consider the fact that in the minds of our founding fathers, and in many more still today, God and the United States are deeply connected. The motto of the United States is fitting and appropriate, and is in reality a great inspiration and hope, even for those that may now despise it. God bless America. Thank you.